today, I believe, is very good because it's about really making the space around you in a way that's not compatible with being sick. So making yourself strong. So I guess we can start. Everyone is here. There's nothing for me to wait
yeah,
for.
Might as well. Yeah, welcome everybody again, and let's just get rolling.
Cool. Let's get rolling. So the subject today is actually going back to the very first class I taught in as a Zoom class, was way back a couple of months ago, about how to deal with this pandemic, with this COVID virus, flu virus of a very particular kind, because it's a new kind, and therefore very virulent because the human body is not used to it yet. So bad reactions and hard to predict. So the basic strategy is to protect ourselves, to hide. You have an enemy you don't know, so if you have to hide first. And basic martial art techniques. It's like most important is to be in control. If you're too aggressive, someone's attacking you, you're too aggressive, you're losing control. And most likely, the person attacking you already has a strategy how to get you, and you're being caught. So not to get caught up with being worked up. That's number one. So yes, turning around and hide. That's what we did, and that was good. We had to shelter, as they call it, and isolate ourselves. But that's good for a while. And that gives us the time to know about the enemy, about how the behavior of the attacker, and that's the virus. Now we start to know about it. But then you can just stay besieged for a long time because you want to win. And that's a basic law in martial art. Martial art, again, is not the art of fighting, but the art of winning. And so finding the right strategy. So after you've been confined for a while, you don't want to stay confined long enough to be weak. And basically that I was already telling that, a couple of months ago, getting prepared for the second wave of the pandemic. Because if you get weak, staying at home and staying protected, next time you come out, you're gonna get sick. And that's exactly what's happening right now. And that's what they call, the second wave, people getting sick. So how to get stronger, to avoid that? So we don't have a choice, actually, because we cannot keep being sheltered and getting weaker and weaker. So we have to go out and attack. Basically, that's how we win. But you cannot just go out and attack restlessly, without any strategy, because of course, that would be forgetting the first rule. We went to shelter so to get enough time to know about the enemy, so we can have the right strategy. And now we know, we know basically that yes, COVID is just a virus like any other virus. And again, the role of the virus is to attack the weak. Basically, a virus is not mean. It's not like a mean thing that's there just to bother you. No, viruses are all around you all the time. And basically, they are the agents of death. So when something is too weak and starting to really lose vitality, basically is the work. They cannot really do much to you, but attract bigger pathogens like bacteria and getting you infected. So basically, you start dying. And the weaker you get, the more toward death you're going, the more pathogens you attract, and the faster you die. So that's how it started with a virus. So number one, don't attract it. Your own vitality is going to repel it already. So hopefully you use that time of confinement to get yourself stronger. And I know you probably didn't. You stand in front of TV and getting scared and scared every day more, right? And, eating pizza in front of the TV and drinking beer and not needing to, not moving enough. So basically building congestion inside the body. So don't go out in those conditions. You have to condition yourself to be healthy enough to come out. To be healthy enough means you build your immune response. So very important to, for like a few days, go through a little lean diet or a little intermittent diet. And there's a good news, it's summertime. Summertime is a great time to do that because you can actually indulge in certain kind of diets. And right now there's something very good. It's called watermelon. Yes, if you're in a diet to clean yourself and to get stronger, all you have to do for one day is to eat as much watermelon as you can. Can you believe that? Yes. And basically, the more watermelon you're going to eat, the least you're going to feel like eating anything else. So you don't feel like eating anything else, don't. If you do, do. But you're going to eat much less. You do a melon diet for just 3 days. And you're going to feel so good. You won't believe it. Just try it. Now, if you don't need to get rid of congestions or anything like that, then you just come out. But coming out, again, you'll be surrounded, you'll be stepping into a pathological field of two kinds. Number one, yes, always going to be virus around, much less because we're summer, and the virus thrive on the cold. So actually it might be better for you to go out because if you stay in with air conditioning, you're actually attracting the virus. So either you turn off the air conditioning or you temper it so it's not so cold, but spend more time out. Outside, what you're going to find is much less virus, unless it's filthy around you, so of course. And number one, you have to clean. You have to have a cleaner environment. If you live in a very polluted area, which is usually went down because after this time of confinement, people didn't drive so much. So air is cleaner. How about that? And nature has had time to recover more. So spending more time in nature. And now with summertime, so leaves are coming out, the greens is abundant, so there's much more oxygen in the air. And that viruses don't like it. There are three things that viruses don't like in nature. It's the oxygen, the light, and the warmth. The three things that's much more abundant in the summer. That's why normally people don't get sick in the summer. They don't get the flu virus because flu virus cannot survive out there. So be able to go out in nature where it's warmer. Now in California right now it's getting actually colder because it's fog coming in. But it's okay, go to the beach anyway, just to put some clothes on, of course, because it's going to be cold. But what you're going to find by the water, and it doesn't have to be the beach, by the ocean. It could be on a lake. It could be where there's water moving. It's negative ions. We call negative ions, but actually very positive results, because the negative ion basically enhance your immune system, and they they attach to the positive ions that comes around you, where the viruses take a ride up in the air, and that's how they get airborne. They fly on the dust, they fly on bad smells, they fly on things where there's already putrefaction. Because again, they are the agent of death. So they promote whatever. Basically, it's like what you find in compost. And nothing wrong with that again. And death again is not a pathology. It's to promote better life for others. It gives more nutrition out there. So if you are by a moving water, like a waterfalls, like a place where, you know, the air is fresh, there's negative ions there, and negative ions prevent the viruses from flying around. So you're very safe there. Not only that, but you recharge. You go out in nature, you recharge your vitality, you take more oxygen in, you take the light, you take the warmth, the sunning, so efficient for people they do the practice with us is to increase your capacity to make more serotonin in your system. And so that uplifts your spirit and get rid of all the depression and the bad hopelessness you've been, you know, developing, staying home, watching TV, you know, that's crazy. So you're changing the mind into uplifting your spirit. And there's no way that the virus can have anything on you. You're actually destroying them by putting a good vibration out and contribute to, you know, healing, basically. And this kind of healing, of course, is also contagious because your own attitude is contagious. Start smiling, start laughing, and you're going to find more people laughing and smiling around you. If you pull out a bad face and all that, you're going to attract them. People are going to reflect it. So you want to reflect the kind of mood and the kind of attitude that you want other people to have around you. That's communicative. That's another kind of contagion. That's the kind of contagion I like. Contaminating, you know, healing, propagating healing, propagating a good spirit around you. So that's number one. That's the right attitude. Okay. So I covered already a pretty good range here. So is there any questions that comes up? Always wave if you have the question, because I don't want to interrupt what I'm saying, because basically I'm talking from the top of my head here, from the top of my, you know, life experience. That's starting to get quite long, as you can see. You know, it's like I'm getting old, but that's, you know, my perspective of knowledge. It's experience, very down to earth. It's not I don't talk about theory here. I talk about very practical things, functional. Okay, any questions or any concerns, you know, about things before I get more into recipes? What kind of weapon you go out there with? No questions? I continue? Cool. I'm going. Okay, let me check. There is that chat. I think I need to open
no,
to make
no
sure
questions.
that there's a question.
No questions yet.
Okay, cool. All right. So I continue.
Yeah.
Number one, basic, you know, for the any kind of work on being into the healing field. Number one is always hygiene. So don't forget everything you learned while you were in confinement. Basically, you need to protect yourself and others with more cleanliness around you. So that's number one. So if you have to go out and you feel like you're surrounded with pathogens, when you go home, you don't want to spread those pathogens inside your home. So you clean, you change, you take a shower, you do something to get cleaner. And what you do after you feel clean, it's a human habit. Everyone has it. As soon as you feel cleaner, you want to refresh everything. And the way to do that, what you do, you add a little detail that makes a big difference. That little detail, you put some oils on your body, you put some perfume, some fragrance, and you do that on yourself. And the same thing also when you do in the house. You see, your house is an extension of your body. When you clean your house and you feel finally everything's nice and clean, your kitchen, your living room, your bedroom, everything's so nice and clean. Now what you do? You put some flowers out there, or you put some fragrance. You put something that could extend that good feeling around. So that basically, that's what's going to repel really the viruses or the pathogens. And that's the main weapon. Your main weapon is two things. Number one, the fragrance itself. And the fragrance is called essential oil, and that comes out of the flowers, that comes out of the whatever you spray around you to make things smell good. Yeah. And so that's for the smell, and also the appearance. The looking good is very important. In Chinese, all Chinese, called Chinese, but it's Taoist tradition that comes way before, the civilization of China, called feng shui. Feng shui is to make things beautiful so the energy, the positive energy, can flow easily. And in order for the positive energy to flow easily, the negativity and the stagnation has to move out, right? So creating space around you that allows that kind of things. And how do you know? Well, it's very simple. It looks good. It looks more elegant. It looks more comfortable. So anything that makes you uplifts your spirit, uplifts your mind, that also uplifts your immune system, because it's basic chemistry. Instead of feeling bad, it means you're on adrenaline, therefore you're more acidic. You start to feel relief, you start to feel good, you feel cleaner, you feel nicer, you breathe fresh air, automatically your body makes more serotonin. And serotonin basically makes your whole system turns into parasympathetic response, more alkaline, and basically your immune system is much stronger. And the same way that the viruses are repelled by the good smell and the good feelings around you in the field, the same thing within yourself. The same situation is created. You're enhancing your health by cleaning your house, by cleaning yourself. So that's inside your house. Now, what you want to do when you come out is extending that energy around you. So wear some kind of perfumes. I know I'm French, I'm used to that. Now, the problem is that the perfume you find right now in the commercial perfume is the product of industry and petrochemicals. So there is some toxicity about it. So even though there is still some toxicity about it, especially for yourself who's wearing it, the composition has to be made with some kind of oil, some kind of fragrance that makes it basically pleasant. So you don't smell like gasoline. You don't smell like petroleum, of course. And they have to put some fragrance in there. And that fragrance is going to do the job. So any kind of colognes, any kind of, all those fragrances you find in cosmetic industry and everything, that would work. But again, be careful, because you have to test with yourself, because those chemicals can make your system weaker and not stronger. So you might, on one hand, repel, the virus from around you, but you make your immune system drop. It's not a good idea. So what I do myself, basically, I use natural essential oils, organic stuff coming straight out of flowers. And you can do that from home already. And even if you don't want to buy those expensive, fancy essential oils, you have them in the house anyway. Look in your spice rack. Look in your bathroom. Actually, it works better. You go to your spice rack, get one leaf of bay leaves, laurel, right? Burn it. So you don't want to stay around the house with the smoke, but it's going to burn real fast anyway, because it's full of oils. They go, it's going to burn. You put it in a little plate. You leave the room for 5 minutes. You come back, and you'll be amazed how refreshed the air is in there, just for one leaf of laurel, bay leaves. You can do that a little bit with rosemary. You can do that even with oregano, a little pinch. You burn it, go out, come back, and you can feel the refreshment. You go in the backyard and get some rosemary, fresh, you cut, if you have lavender, it's wonderful. Cut the lavender, you hang it, you make a little bunch, you hang it in the house. That fragrance is gonna stay there for weeks and months. Much cheaper than to buy a little bottle of essential oil that's very expensive and evaporates very fast. You have to keep using it. The flowers themselves hold the smell and the fragrance and the oil, diffuse the oil continuously for a long time. So this is going to protect your home. It protects your home. What you do, you take some of the lavender, you put it in your pocket, or you make it look good, so you like a little flower hanging out. Right now there's jasmine out there. There's carnations, roses and everything. Put a flower out, hanging out like this, and you keep smelling it around you. Even if you don't smell it any longer, the essence is around you. Wear some perfumes or cologne, or again, essential oils, what I use. Put it in my hands, rub on my face. If you want to wear a mask, we're going to talk about the mask later on. Rub some on your mask so it becomes a real barrier and a repellent actually to the virus, instead of cultivating it, on yourself. No, it cannot survive these kind of things. So that's very efficient. That's an efficient way to go out. Now, I mentioned the mask. I believe mask now became very important. Why? Not because it is that efficient. In my opinion, it's not. But it's about, what's happening right now is that the side effect brought by the virus is more dangerous than the virus itself. And especially what we call about people's panic. You don't want to keep bathing in other people's panic. So you don't want to induce it either. So it's about, again, the same way you deal with any kind of pathology. And number one rule dealing with your body is diplomacy. So basically, you don't want to be impolite. So now it's crazy because the mask, especially in the United States, became even a political issue. If you're one party, you don't want to wear it. If you're on another party, you need to wear it. And if you don't wear it, you criticize people that are wearing it. If you wear it, you criticize people that don't wear it. I mean, it became very emotional, not rational. It's actually very childish. It's actually stupid, actually. So because childish, not childish, because children are actually more intelligent than that. We're going way below that. So most important is to be polite and respectful. You want to be respectful not only of yourself, but of other people. So if you're in the middle of people not wearing masks, you don't want to offend them by wearing them. So that's okay. So, you protect yourself, you put essential oils around you and everything, you'll be fine. If you're around people that wear the mask, that's what I do. I wear it all the time. Now it's a law anyway. You go out, you have to have the mask, so fine. That's okay. The whole idea is to keep being positive again, because that positiveness and being positive works on your side. It makes your system more alkaline. You feel fine, you feel safer, you feel more comfortable, you make other people feel comfortable. And that creates the atmosphere of healing. So for me, that's about attitude now. It's not about being efficient at the scientific level, because it's not scientific. Even all the, what we get, all the information we're getting out of the media and coming from the CDC and all the so-called authority in health. You have to remember those authorities are not made of scientists or doctors. They are actually, it's about politics. So it's about the law. So it's mostly made of lawyers and organizers, people doing administrative, say administrators. So, yes, of course, they get advised by doctors and everything, but there is a big difference between true cleanliness and the appearance of cleanliness. And that's where we have to draw the line. You have to be careful. The appearance of cleanliness usually hides most of pathologies. So it's okay to have the appearance, but make sure you have the cleanliness with it. So if you have to wear a mask, for example, like I do, here in the appropriate area in California, you have to make sure that your mask is sanitized, it's clean. So put some kind of disinfectant in it. And for me, essential oils is the best line, and you'll be okay. And everyone around you is going to be okay. Even virus or no virus, you have to protect yourself from other people's bad mood, basically. And that's the worst, that's the poison you want to protect yourself against. So that's the main thing. You want to go out, you want to make sure that you contribute to the healing process, to expanding the healing field around you. That means we have to do the right thing. It's not about to be right or wrong here. It's about winning. And that's the main strategy. If you want to win, you don't want to play the game of people that want to win you over and take advantage of your weakness. So we have to come out of weakness. It's the most important. So number one, before you go out, make yourself stronger, cleaner, nicer, perfume, and everything. And it's, a perfume, it's been a science for hundreds and thousands of years. It grew, with humanity. Why? Because again, it's about the use of true antiseptic in all time, even during the time of cholera, around the time of pestilence and the plagues. And there is two kind of people that have the reputation never get sick. Number one, the perfumers. People extracting essential oils that would never get sick. And number two, actually, is divided in two kinds, is the people taking care of the dead, burying people. And those people, they realized, even though they were around, the pathogen of the worst, conditions around death and sadness and depression and all that, they learned themselves to protect themselves with very strong oils. And another people who take care of people's death, of course, so-called the looters, robbers, people who get in the house of people that died to rob everything in there. And they protect themselves with heavy kind of oils, perfumes. Like the same kind of oils they use actually for embalming to prevent the bacteria to destroy the body. So those are all very strong. And you know what? You have them already in your spice rack. You're talking about thyme, and the spice, oregano also, and clove. Very, very strong clove, bay leaves, again, rosemary. So, those are the kind of very heavy duty protection. But again, be careful because those are very strong fragrance, very strong oils. Yes, you're going to repel a virus, but it might repel people around you too. You might don't want that. And also it could be caustic to you. So always dilute them. You dilute before you use them, dilute with, use any kind of thing you already use. You use your, what you put in your skin, or either oils of, or what do you call things you put on your skin? The lotions, your basic lotion you use all the time, just put a drop of these oils in there, mix it, and then rub in your body. So the body's going to absorb it, okay? Because your skin is a lung, it's a third lung, and the body's breathing in. So that fragrance is going to inside you, right? So it's going to really not only protect you from around, it's going to get rid of the bad things that's still around you inside. So it contributes of making you stronger. So you take a shower, take a bath, and then you rub your body with the lotion with some good fragrance in there. And yeah, you're going to be not only protected, but even stronger as a, as a person in terms of the feeling good, being uplifted already, and having that fragrance, protecting from the inside out. Mhm. Okay. Any questions so far? I mean, again, there's no question because everything I'm saying, I'm sure somewhere you already know. This has been part of human tradition for the longest time. The approach is very different, than the conventional medical approach, because it's not allopathic. It's called true holistic approach, meaning that you put yourself within the whole field of your whole existence, and that's how it works. And so that basically follows natural rules that's been existent from the longest time. And somewhere in there, we know it. So I'm basically telling you things that you already know. So it resonates in you. You say, yeah, yeah. So I'm just reminding that all this you already know, but you have to use that knowledge. You have to listen to that part of you that knows. And that's the body's intelligence. It's a big difference when you enter in a room, it doesn't smell good, and you feel the atmosphere is confined and it's restricted, you feel it's not healthy. You feel like running out of there for good reason, because that's a site of cultivation of disease. That's a place where the viruses and the bacteria love the most because they can develop there, they can grow, they can reproduce, right? You open the window, you ventilate, you put fresh air in there, and you clean everything, you get rid of everything that's dirty. That's could be a site of festering, for those bacteria. And once everything is clean, then you put some fragrance in there. You put some flowers out there, or either dry or fresh. It doesn't matter as long as smell comes out. Some flowers like roses, for example, they smell better when they are fresh. But also are different. Lavender, for example, or jasmine, and they're going to keep the smell longer when actually dried. So, that used to be a knowledge that everyone used to have. We kind of forgot, especially if you're living in town, living in a city. You don't have a yard, you don't have a backyard, you don't have a garden. So you lost, the communication with the plants. But every plants are there for good reason. And like again, that I was saying earlier, right now, all the leaves are out, so there's much more oxygen out there. And oxygen, I mean, actually, oxygen is the most dangerous thing. Too much oxygen is actually very caustic. We call the H3, no, H2, H2O3, and that's extremely caustic. You put that in water to clean from all the bacteria and everything. It's called ozone, very dangerous. And oxygen is the cause of rust. It's the cause of oxidation. So everything gets old and breaks apart because of oxygen. So you don't want to have too much. So it's like everything in life, you have to have the right amount. And the right amount of oxygen cleans all the bacteria out. And it gives you life, makes your blood red, makes your blood, pumped up with life. So again, you don't want to see the what is called agent of death as being the dirty thing. No, because again, it's a promotion of life. And that oxygen, right now it's in the summer, actually promotes life. So you want to go out and get it, charge up, Going to the countryside, going to the mountains, going to the lakes, going to the beach, and going out in the park. If you live in the city, there's always a park somewhere. Going out to walk, and going sit under trees, breathe the fresh air, and then the fragrances. Now there's so many different fragrances out there, everything is in bloom. So that's really the weapons, true weapons against the viruses and all the pathogens, all the, all the bacterias and things that create the disease. And again, disease is the opportunity to heal. So either you get stronger, which is an enhancement of life, or you die. And death, from death, again, you're feeding life by dying. So nothing wrong there. But what's wrong is that you're dead. Okay, so you don't want to do that. So you want to use basically what is that enhances whatever it is that gives you vitality and makes you feel good. So your system repels pathology. Okay. I have to keep an eye on that. Yeah, all good. So I've been talking like nonstop for a while. So hopefully it brings up some questions here. Any kind of doubts, especially if you think it's a stupid question, it's most likely very important to answer and to answer that.
Melissa, do you want to ask your question?
Hi, Gilles.
Hi.
What do you think about fire water?
About what?
Drinking the fire water and also bitters.
Fire water. What is it that you call fire water?
Fire cider?
Oh, fire cider, yeah. Fire cider is the combination of herbs. I put the herbs together with the horseradish and jalapenos, and then I put the apple cider vinegar and take it for...
Yes. Okay. So you're a step ahead of the program here.
Oh.
So you're getting really, it's like medication, basically.
Okay, and you're going to talk about that later when I'm probably gone.
Right now, when we just go at it, we
that's
can
okay. So
right
it's
there.
okay.
Yeah. Those are health enhancers. So anything you do to enhance your health is good. So basically, it's like you do in your home. Anything you do to create a good atmosphere in there. But number one, most important, you get rid of congestion. You clean inside first. No point to get into tonics and adaptogens if you're congested. It's not going to work. If you have been on a pizza diet for a whole month in front of TV because of being confined, you basically set yourself up to get sick. The first step, you come out. You go out, you're going to catch any disease that's around. So before you come out, you clean your body. So we're talking about a watermelon diet. It's very easy to do now. It's cheap too. So basically, you do something to get rid of congestion and to clean. And so you take advantage, of course, to stay away from pizzas and heavy and very fatty and very starchy kind of food, and switch to something more vital. That your body, as soon as your body starts to clean, your body's going to ask for it. It's going to ask for fresh vegetables, cooked or raw, doesn't matter, for like bone broth, for something that's give you more vitality, but less bulk, less work to do to your digestive system that needs to be relieved. So by eating all that watermelon anyway, and because all the juice and everything is going to flush you out, and don't be afraid of the sugar in there. People think, oh, there's so much sugar. The sugar is trapped into the fiber. And that sugar is not being digested so fast. It's not like a candy or like a fruit juice. Or don't make a juice out of the watermelon. Eat it, in pieces, whole, because the sugar is trapped on the fiber, and it breaks down slowly, much slower. That gives you time for your pancreas to know how much insulin to make. So you aren't going to suffer of hypo or hyperglycemia, unless, of course, you already have diabetes then, but then you know what to do. Very important if you have hypoglycemia, any kind of pancreatic, problems or imbalance in there, while you eat your watermelon, make sure you don't have any starch. Because again, starch is going to digest faster than the watermelon, believe me. It's instant. It doesn't need to be digested. The sugar is created right at the touch of saliva in your mouth and makes your blood sugar spike. Yeah? So don't do that. Stay away from starch, but eat fruits and vegetables. You're going to see, check your blood sugar. You have your fruit and you have your watermelons, you have your vegetables. Make sure you have some protein with it. So you have a good balance, in your pancreatic output. You have a good balance of insulin and glucagon coming out. And you're going to see, number one, you're not going to crave sugar. It's not going to make you go into like a frenzy. Even though if you have a frenzy eating watermelon, go for it. There's no problem. But have some kind of protein with it to make sure that you have the right output, in your body. And you're going to see that you're going to get, it's going to make your body much more efficient in terms of energy. Actually, you're going to burn out your fat. You're going to lose body fat by eating more watermelon. How about that? And that fat is going to turn into energy. It makes you give you more vitality. You're going to lose weight. You're going to feel lighter, even though you're going to eat more protein, eat the fruits and the vegetables, stay away from starch. Now it's summer. We don't need starch. Starch is a winter food. And for emergency food, there's nothing else to eat. It's high sugar. So stay away from starch. Bread, potatoes, and chips, and all the pastries and everything. You don't need that in the summer. Eat fresh fruit, fresh vegetables. If you have a hard time digesting the raw thing, cook them. It's okay. But anyway, yes, make your body cleaner before you start to try to make it stronger. Because it's like in a house. It doesn't matter how much perfume and incense and diffusion of essential oil you put out there. If it's filthy, it's not going to work so well. You're cultivating the germs in there. So cleanliness comes first. So you clean the body the same way you clean the house before you put perfume in there. So when you start to use the tonics and the adaptogens you put in your body, make sure the body is clean. Because anything you take in, if you have already excess and stagnation in the body, is going to contribute to the excess and congestion. So it's not about to put a layer of cleanliness on top of filth. And that goes back to what I was saying, the difference between the appearance of cleanliness and true cleanliness. It's not putting a nice brand new carpet on top of a filthy floor. That's going to make it healthier. No, that's not a good idea. Okay.
Thank you.
Good. Anything else?
Somebody was asking about garlic.
So, okay, looks like we have to go down, stepping into the tonics and adaptogens here. Garlic is the king of both adaptogens and tonics. The only problem, some people don't like it. So, listen to your body, most important. If you like garlic, this is just fine. I love garlic. So that's a big advantage. It's like, yeah, it's abundant. It's not that expensive. You can do all kinds of things. But I know people that they have adverse reaction to garlic. So that's not going to work for them. Don't force yourself to eat garlic if you don't like it. Because if you don't like it, what's it going to do? It's going to create a negative reaction in your body, and you get into the pathological field. You're going to make adrenaline instead of serotonin, and you turn congested. The friends, especially people that more from the north, like British, German, Nordic people, and they sometimes they don't like garlic, and it's for good reason. And I have good friends, from Germany like that. We eat completely opposite. I eat spicy with garlic, and when I do that, red pepper and everything, I get a relief, a sense of relief. I can breathe better, I feel better, right? And the friends, if you eat the same food that I do, get congested with the same food. You know, it smells garlic or eat a little bit, doesn't like it, he gets congested, gets all red. And so that's not good for him. So he has to find a kind of tonics that works for him. And paradoxically, what works for him doesn't work for me. What he likes, dill pickles in vinegar, a lot of vinegar, and dill, sweetness in there, and they even add sugar in there and everything. And he has immediately a sense of relief, feeling good. I do that, I get congested. And I don't like it. I feel nauseous. So different people, different foods. That's normal. There is again a key word here. It's a key word, the key that opens every door. It's called respect. You respect yourself, you respect your body's body reaction, and therefore you respect other people's bodies and reactions. Garlic, yes, very good. It's excellent. Excellent tonic, excellent adaptogen. It's a pathogen, it repels pathogens. It may enhance your immune system if you like it. But if you don't force yourself. That's not a good idea. So again, more the holistic approach to health. In allopathy, it goes, hey, garlic is good, therefore it's good for everyone. Well, this is bad, therefore it's bad for everyone. No, everyone is different. You have to respect that. It's most important. Most important. And it's not about the why. It's just the way it is. Don't make it a problem to solve, because there's no solution. It's just the way it is. So that's why then we're never going to find one medication that works the same for everyone. There's no such thing as the magic bullet that's going to cover the whole thing. That's why I stay, with that systematic, holistic approach to health, because I know this is the efficient way to satisfy everyone and to repeal diseases. Okay, same way, you have to respect everything. I was talking about the difference of the appearance of cleanliness and true cleanliness. Yes, it is important, but true cleanliness is not the same for everyone either. So that has to be respected. You have to follow the deep feelings, called the gut feelings you have within yourself. That's good. That's the only guide. And everyone is different, and this has to be respected. And the respect of differences, because we learn from each other. Everyone, like that, talking about that German friend who does eat exactly the opposite, But there is some similar things we eat and we like, and we might spice it up a little differently. But we know that what's works the same for us, that covers a wider range of satisfaction, therefore of health. So looking for the meeting grounds also. And to know the meeting grounds, you have to know the differences. So that has to be cultivated. That's something I learned also doing martial arts. Martial arts is like every teacher, every master is going to teach differently. That's fine. But there's that one thing, they all do the same. That's what power is. That's the essence. That's what you want to learn by learning with different people and looking for that one thing that they do very similarly or even the same. Those are the principles that needs to be integrated. This cannot be discovered if you stick to trying to homogenize everything, make everyone the same, and cover everyone with the same thing. You lose the richness, you lose the diversity, you lose the potential for learning better and more from others. Every time a civilization improves tremendously, it's by connecting with the foreigners. And usually being, not very evolved, not very human yet. It has to be through war, we fight. But as we fight, sometimes we take a break, and there is a culture moving through when there's that. And we learn that, oh, they cook differently. Oh, they do that a little differently. Yeah? And we try, and we say, oh, that's not bad. Yeah? And that's how we learned. But most important, we learn also through contacts that's more evolved as human being. Yeah? It's like arts. Or they say, oh, they play music differently. It doesn't sound good at the beginning because someone's so used to it. But if we pay attention for a while, then you realize, wow, that beat is interesting. And that combination of notes and those harmonics are maybe unfamiliar, but once you start to hear them, once you start to differentiate them, they say, whoa, that's something interesting in there. Same thing in cooking. I'm not used to cook those the kind of ways or those kind of products, but hey, it adds more variety. And you don't have to do exactly the same, but get inspired. That inspiration that expands the limits of consciousness and makes that consciousness to get richer all the time. We learn. So learning from diversity, learning from differences. So in order to learn from those differences, we have to know what those differences are. But again, the key word is to respect them. So that's why it's so holistic. It doesn't apply only to pathology. It applies to everything in life. So from garlic, see how much we covered? and then we can get more the detail called the, what's it called, the fire drink, fire something. And getting with the vinegar, the vinegar, spices, tonic, and everything. Yes.
Fire cider, yes.
Yes, yeah. And that can be a very powerful thing. It's been in human tradition for the longest time, especially in France. France actually has a bad reputation for something like that. It's called appetizers. Got very bad reputation, especially from Nordic, more Nordic people, German, British, especially because of the border, right? Switzerland. People are very serious and they don't like to look silly, you know. Look, in France, we don't care. We love to look silly. There is a tradition every day, not only every day, but sometimes several times a day. And that can be a problem also. The tradition of what we call appetizers. So appetizers makes French people take 2 hours break in the middle of the day for lunch, okay? That's the official thing. But because in culture and because of habits and because of tradition, lunch is not enough. We have to have a pre-lunch time. We call appetizers. So especially if you work in administration and everything, not only you have those 2 hours break for lunch, but you leave earlier. 15 minutes, 20 minutes earlier, right? Oh, it's time for appetizers, meaning that you meet with other people and have a special drink. It's a drink we have only for appetizers, but there's some alcohol in there. In the South, especially, we use a lot of anise liquors or mints, you know, things to open the appetite. And you have some peanuts and olives and so a little snack like that to open the appetite. Well, and that's the French tradition, you're cracking jokes. That's where the bad reputation comes. It's not for being alcoholic, drinking alcohol all the time. That's because everyone in Europe drinks anyway. No, but during that time, there is a rule or there is no rules. It's about making you and other people laugh. And that's where the bad reputation is, especially among British and German people. So, well, French people are so impolite. They laugh about everything. They make fun. You know, they don't like to be fun of. And French people don't mind. They make fun of themselves. They make fun of their neighbors. They make fun of their best friends. And that's the rule, basically, to make laugh no respect there. That's where all the rules are broken, as long as it makes you laugh. And that laugh basically saves French people's life. Why? Because when you laugh, under the smell of the food that's being prepared around you, your body is getting ready for digestion. It's making the right enzymes. Not only that, but you are in a very positive mood. So you're on serotonin, your parasympathetic response. And you can digest anything you're going to swallow, no matter how much fat, how much alcohol, how much, everything. So it's not really the alcohol in the wine that gives that good look and thin and not overweight people, in France so much. It looks like everyone's very fit, even though they eat so much at lunchtime on top of that. It's because they do it in a good mood. It's the change of mood. So you don't have to be irrespectful like a lot of French people are. It's not a good side, French people. It makes other people react. Everywhere in humanity, they have their form of, it's not only racism, xenophobia and all that, is the reaction to what's foreign and making fun of it. But that making fun, if it's done respectfully, then allows for integration. The only problem against the attitude when it's not done respectfully. So if you are able to make fun of yourself about certain things, that means you're respecting yourself a certain way. So when you're making fun of other people the same way, there is some level of respect in them. And there is a limit that not being crossed. That's the difference of never, ever make fun of yourself or other people, which creates like a big distance, create distance in between people. And under the appearance of respect, you're hiding all the disrespect you can cultivate within the old pattern of habits coming from ancestral tradition, having to defend yourself from your neighbors. Atavistic reflexes and patterns of habits that turn into reflexes and create this big distance in between people. So again, it's about adapting of about the tradition and always using that very important key word, which is respect. Anything you do by respect, you can put as much fun and derision in there, and it's going to be very positive. It's okay. Learning to use a sense of humor, actually, to get people to understand things better. And that's what I use in my practice all the time. Because I'm dealing with people that have completely lost not only their spirit, they hopeless people, they people very depressed and everything, deep in pathology. You have to get them out of the field if you want any kind of healing to be efficient. So again, it's an attitude of respect. So you can have fun. You can make fun of things and using it very positively. I know it can be very confusing for people who are not used to it, but that's the way things work. I didn't invent it. It's not something artificial, something that already exists that needs to be used, but it has to be used properly. It has to be used right. Any questions about that? I hear the silence. People thinking, The Zoom class are quite good because even the atmosphere is going through, and gets through because the picture being here and all that, the sound. So the energy is coming through. So any question at this point is extremely important to answer. Even if you think that...
Olivier, did you want to ask a question? You can ask in French if you want.
Oui, c'est pas une question. En fait, Gilles, je voulais partager mon expérience.
Oui.
Ma mère qui a Alzheimer.
Alzheimer, yeah. Your mother has Alzheimer, yeah.
A eu la suspicion du Covid-19 pendant le mois d'avril.
And she got the COVID in April. Right? Yeah.
Ouais, suspicion. Mais on avait la suspicion.
Because she has been tested related. So well, if you got the flu in 2019, you get COVID-19. That's what COVID-19 means. You got the flu of the season. That's you know, a lot of people got it. Yeah.
Et ce que j'ai fait, je l'ai mis souvent dehors au soleil.
So you put yourself often under the sun. Yes.
Ouais. Ensuite, je ne sais pas pourquoi, je me suis mis à cuisiner avec de l'ail et de l'oignon tout le temps, sur beaucoup de choses.
And you start to cook with garlic and onion. Yes.
Et ensuite, je lui ai mis des films drôles.
And you put some funny videos, like comic things, you know, yeah.
Et je sais qu'à un moment, c'était assez élevé, mais à la fin, ça s'est fini.
Yeah.
Elle a traversé sans...
So she recovered very, very without any big crisis or anything. Yeah, yeah. That's the attitude. That's the right attitude to get. And under any kind of disease, not only flu or COVID-19 or whatever, it's a special flu we got this year. But I tell you, look at the statistics. If you look at the CDC's numbers really for contagion, you know, the contagion of 2017 was actually harder and harsher on the population than 2019, so, especially at the beginning and between December and March, which is the high peak, you know, for flus in any season. After that, after March, when we start to get the spring, there's been another peak in 2019. And that's what made the 2019 flu more, you know, destructive than in 2017. Why? Because it was a second wave already, and it was coming from that wave of people being weakened from that confinement. And that's what I was predicting in that first class way back in, when was that, the first class? I forgot. Did we record it? Did we have a, I don't know, we have to go back into there. Anyway, I was saying that people, by staying confined and, you know, paranoid in front of TV and not changing the air in the house, and basically you're getting your system weaker. And when they come out, they get sick. So you had the right attitude with your mother by putting her out in the sun and make sure that she keeps warm, because that's why you have to be careful. Any kind of you know, situation is a chill. Make sure there's not cold winds out there. Make sure that that no chill is being triggered, because the chill means the body there's coolness in there, and where there is coolness, you actually cultivate the virus, and the virus cultivates in cool places in your body, and like in nasal passages, in air passages, in the throat, where there is more wind, and it attracts the bacteria that creates infection and heat. And when you're sick, actually, the first thing to disappear is the virus, because the temperature kills it. But your disease is coming from the bacteria, the second level of contamination that you got, called opportunistic, you know, infection that develops in the lungs, and that gives you the congestion in there. And the COVID-19 is nasty because the congestion in the lungs is not only from mucus, it's actually cardiovascular, it's actually clotting, it's blood, it's a blood clotting in the body because of high fever and all that, and they're making blood clots. So that has to be treated completely differently. And that's why so many people dying in hospital being treated with the ventilators and everything that actually push the clots into the lungs and makes people choke. And no, if you have, you know, that's why the oximeter is very important to check the level of oxygen you have in the body. So if the level of oxygen in people sick is very low, don't lie them down. Don't put them on the ventilator. They have to move those clots in the body. So the blood has to circulate. Eventually they recover. That's the treatment that we're giving. That's, you know, they were giving the antibiotics in that hospital in France, in southern France, in Marseille, where they had no mortality compared to the hospitals in Paris, where they had 30% of higher mortality than you know, usual. in everywhere because they were following the CDC procedures of ventilation and not putting people on antibiotics before it was too late. And actually, people need antibiotics so the secondary infection, it doesn't develop in the body. So the treatment was controversial, of course, it still is, for all kinds of reasons. It's emotional, it's political, it's commercial, and all kinds of things. I don't want even to begin to deal with that. But anyway, that's what's happening there. So you treat it efficiently by doing what the body needs to do. Stay away from a cold, stay away from draft. You cover yourself, try to make yourself sweat. And that's the sweating actually gets rid of, it's like what the mucus is trying to do, just trying to catch the viruses and the bacteria and putting out of the body. But so much mucus also can choke you. And so you don't want to create the condition that creates mucus. Yeah? And that's we're going to get another level. We're talking about when we talk about the tonics and adaptogen. There's also nutrition. Nutrition comes before using adaptogens and the tonics. The tonics and the adaptogen is like what you do in a house when you put all the fragrances and everything. The house is to be clean. So again, the adaptogens and the tonics going to work only if you're not congested. So staying away from food that gives you congestion. And that's a good way to learn how to live every day and be healthier every day. Don't wait to get sick. If you're healthier during the day, every day, you will never catch the flu, even a cold, if your body is not congested. In order to catch the flu, or catch any kind of cold and things like that, you need to have the condition in which a bacteria is going to thrive. And that's called mucus. So stay away from food creating mucus. And mostly those are starches and dairy especially, because the human body is not designed to deal with cows, milk. Cow's milk is for cows, not human. But some humans develop the enzymes for it, and that's okay, and be able to digest. But for me, for example, I have Asian blood. So milk for me is a poison. I cannot drink, especially pasteurized milk where there's no more enzymes and everything. So the only milk I can drink is when it has been treated with some kind of bacteria, basically cultivation, pre-digested with enzymes. So yogurt and cheese and things like that, easier to digest, but they still have to be careful. And those are very high concentrated food. So the body has enough very easily. So a little excess turns into congestion. So any good things never take with excess. And the big problem is nutrition is not so much what you eat, but how much of it. The best food in excess is going to turn into stagnation. So against the attitude, respecting your body. You might think that, eating a little bit too much of, a little more of this, a little more of that, it feels like a gratification. But actually, it turns it easily into self-abuse. It makes your system sluggish, slow down, overwork. So the human, like the human body, like a human people, don't like to overwork. So everything is going to slow down. You slow down your digestive process by eating too much. You want to speed up your digestive process, eat less. Or go a little fast, a little, a few hours, 8 hours, 15 hours fast, without eating anything to give your body a break so you can digest. And you can eat watermelon while you do your fast. It's okay, because you need the water in there. You need to flush.
Gilles, by starch, do you mean like potato or white rice?
So starch, basically, we call high glycemic index food. Food that turns it, I have a high sugar called easy sugar to digest. So that's all grains-based food, basically, including granola, including the healthy grain. It's too much nutrition in there, especially in the summer. In winter, you can get away with it because your body has to burn all those calories to protect you, to keep your body's temperature. But in the summer, you don't need, actually you need to cool off. So it's very easy to overeat because you don't need all those calories. Your liver slows down during the summer for good reason. Because the one big job of the liver is to maintain your body's temperature. So in the winter, it's no problem. It has to burn all this calorie. And you can drink alcohol too. Alcohol is going to be much easier to detoxify in the winter. And that's why people living in cold countries, like in Russia, for example, they can drink their vodka. You know, in France, they drink their wine and alcohol, but there's no heating system in the house in the country. But if you live in a place where there is a heating system, where the temperature is maintained pretty high, it's very easy to turn alcoholic. It's very easy to congest your liver. So you have to be careful. In California, so Russians that moved to California, French people moving to California, they used to drink wine, they used to drink, all the little liquor every day. You cannot do that in California because it's too warm, it's too temperate. And the winters are not cold enough, to help your body process all this. So even just one glass of wine every day, there's not much. You don't need to get drunk to become alcoholic. It's not enough for one day for your liver to process one glass of wine because it's lazy, because everything slows down. You don't have to work so hard because you don't need to make so much calories to maintain your body warm. It's already warm out there, right? So that a little piece of wine, a little bit of alcohol that your liver is not able to process every day is going to pile up. And that's dangerous. That's called stagnation in the liver. And that's how people become alcoholics, because so much of the liver is used to store, whatever the body, whatever the liver especially, is not able to detoxify in one day. It keeps accumulating. So be careful about congesting yourself. And in the summer, it's so easy. Eat a little bit of anything. And again, starch is so rich. So starch again, grain-based, even a good kind of grain, like, they talk now with the new grains coming from South America, with amaranth and, no, you don't need the grain, those coming from the Andes, from high mountains. People, they need the grain, they need the richness, the nutrition in there. We don't. We have abundance in fresh fruit and vegetables. Use that because the fiber. And the fiber is going to clean the system in there. And there's no fiber in meat and milk product and all that. So stay away more from animal products, during the summer. But have more vegetable, more of the fruits. So it's more fiber. And that's going to clean your system. And watermelon is full of fiber. Yeah, all the fruits, it's okay. So even though it's sweet, the sugar is not as available as in a pizza, in a slice of pizza, for example. In a slice of pizza, the sugar is in your blood before you swallow the pizza. It's amazing. It's in the saliva. It's already the digestive enzyme is in there, start to break down the white flour, especially. It's so high glycemic. Basically, you get more sugar out of a slice of pizza and chips and all those starch that's available, bread sauce and the cookies and things like that. The sugar goes faster from the starch than the sugar itself. Yeah. So when the sugar, even though it's sweet, it comes with the fiber. So that's why juice also can be dangerous. Don't juice, so much in the summer, and that's very tempting because it's so ice cold, right? And that's also something very dangerous. Ice cold prevents digestion. You can only digest at your body's temperature, 37 centigrade, or I don't know in the Fahrenheit, and that's another backward way of counting. I don't want to deal with that. You use metric system, so it's more up to date. 37 degrees centigrades, that's the body temperature. So it's about what, 75, 70 something Fahrenheit, I don't know. Anything colder than that, the body has to warm it up in order to digest it. That's why it's so very easy to become congested in the summer if you drink ice cold stuff. Anything you eat is not going to digest until it reaches body temperature. So yes, eat a drink and eat cool if you want, your salad and your drinks, but not ice cold. Ice cold is not good for you. It makes everything, especially the fat. People go do barbecue in the summertime, 4th of July, high fat content and cold beer on top of that. All that fat freezes in your system, becomes solid, becomes saturated. How are you going to digest that? There's no way. Go in countries where even in the summer they eat fat. It's like you go to North Africa, for example. It's like they have they eat a lot of lamb and goat, and lamb fat, lamb goat, very hard to digest. But they don't drink anything cold. It's hot tea, hot green tea, hot coffee. And that helps the melting of the fat and the digesting of it. And not only that, but when you drink hot, when it's hot out there, that makes you sweat, and the sweat cools you off. You don't need refrigeration so much. It's called air conditioning. You don't need so much air conditioning. You make your body adapt to the heat out there by cooling off. And here in the United States, we do the reverse. We cool off inside the body, it makes it reacting to the heat. So the body cannot adapt to the heat. And what happens if you stay cold and under, like cold refrigeration in the house with that, air conditioning? You're creating for viruses the right place to develop. You get a congested body under cold temperature, you communicate and you cultivate the virus. Not a good idea. So even if you want to have the comfort of air conditioning in your home, which is fine, make sure it's clean, make sure there is a good fragrance in there and ventilation, so there's no stagnation in there. And don't stay home, go out. When you come back, it's been hot out there, you had fun, we went in the outdoors, you had fun, you had to have a barbecue, it's 4th of July, it's great. You have dancing, you have music, you mingle with people. You come back home, you're covered with germs, you're covered with viruses. Nothing wrong with that. That's okay. Your good mood, we peeled it already. But now you go home, you're going back home in a place where it's cool and makes easy for the virus to develop. So make sure you get into the shower or a bath or whatever, you clean. And you put your lotion with the fragrance in there and you cool off, yes, but you're sanitized, you're fine. But if you go play ball and dance and barbecue, mingle with people, and you come back home, covered with virus, if you feels so good being in the air conditioning, and you slump in front of TV, look at the bad news about the COVID spreading more, drinking a cold beer, eating a piece of pizza. Basically, you're setting yourself up to become a next victim. So don't invite the enemy in. Keep repelling it out all the time. Don't create the grounds for contagion. You're creating a winter at home. That's the the best setting, you know, for the contagion of the flu. People shouldn't be able to catch flu in the summer because the heat, the sun, the light, the oxygen, the fragrance, it makes it impossible for the virus to develop. But you create the condition at home with air conditioning. So be careful. So again, nothing wrong with air conditioning. People cannot sleep if the air is not under conditioning, that's fine. But make sure everything is clean. You can use ionizer, you can use a diffuser of essential oil, and you can use anything. Actually, it's going to make your room, your home even more comfortable. Refresh everything. You don't have, you know, all those essential. Again, you know, you can put flowers in the house. Hang the lavender. Burn a leaf of eucalyptus or bay laurel and everything, or oregano. I mean, this is going to sanitize the air. Some people put some incense, and sandalwood especially is so powerful. Anything that's basically is airborne and kills the virus right in the air before it gets to any surface. So you clean the surfaces first, and then you open the windows so it's ventilated, but any virus coming in is immediately destroyed. So that's the right attitude to have. Be efficient. Use true cleanliness rather than only the appearance of it. Make sure that whatever you do is efficient to eradicate the contagion. See, I'm covering a bigger and bigger range by answering little questions like that. Anything? So we're talking about, I forgot the initial question now. What was it? Forgot. Anyway, we covered the program. It's okay. So
Jackie has a question, I believe.
Go ahead, Jack.
Jackie?
I cannot hear you.
Well, I'll ask what she...
Unmute. Okay. Yeah, I want to go back and see my mom in England, and then I had plans to go to France and then to Greece, and I'm wondering about how to go about traveling. I know we've been excluded from Europe now, but I have a British passport also, so I think I could get back to England. But what do you think about flying?
So, I mean, you got to enjoy life, you got to live, right?
Right.
So make sure you do it in a way that not only protects you and others around you, but makes you stronger, and you keep propagating healing around you. So again, the best way, the best strategy is not only protection, only the confinement, but going out and attack. So make sure you're efficient by doing that. So there's a good way to do that, of course. First, you have to be respectful of people around you. So you have to wear a mask when you wait to fly. So make sure that the mask is sanitized and put the fragrance you like, because you're going to have to breathe that thing for hours.
Right, it's like an 11-hour flight, you know.
Yes. So use your favorite fragrance, right? Dilute it so it's not so strong. You put it in your hands, you dilute it, you rub it on the mask, you rub it in your face. Before you go out to the airport, even be in a taxi cab or whatever, you make sure you clean, you took a shower and everything. Put that essential oil in some lotion, rub it through your whole body. That way you're protected. Not only you're protected, but if you carry any kind of viruses around you, they're going to jump off, right? They're going to want to stay in a healthy body like that because they're going to survive. So you're going to repel it. That good fragrance is going to repel it. So there are some essential oils that actually designed exactly just for traveling. And there is that company called Young Living. That's from Canada. and you can have in the United States very easily. They have one formula that's called thieves in the memory of those looters that used to get in the house of people that died from the plague and rob them and never get sick. So it's a very strong oil. So you need to maybe dilute it and everything. You don't want to be repulsive to other people around you either, because it's strong. But just a little bit is enough to do the job.
So what's in thieves? What are the oils in thieves?
So basically, the dominant oil in there is clove.
Cloves, yeah.
Thyme, clove, thyme, rosemary, all that. But at the same time, you have to be careful because being so strong, they can be also caustic, and you won't be able to bear the scent for like 12 hours like that.
Right.
So you dilute it. Again, one drop in a big, like a whole handful of lotion in there, that does the job. You know, it doesn't have to be so powerful, so strong.
Right, right.
Yeah.
I guess I'm concerned about getting stuck over there too and then not being able to come back if I go, you know. Anyway, that's another issue, huh?
Maybe that's lucky for you.
Getting it wouldn't be so bad, huh? We'll get stuck in France.
That's being stuck in Greece. Oh, come on. That's like,
yeah, right.
What a drag.
Wouldn't be so bad, huh?
That's right. But anyway, that's for me, that's the attitude. No danger for you if you do the right thing for yourself. And if you do the right thing for yourself, you'll be protecting people around you.
Right, right.
So no problem at all.
Thank you.
So make sure you carry on yourself the oil so you can always replenish it because you start to get weak. And people sneeze around you, whatever, you know, you're in the airport. So there's a site of cultural exchange, you know, that's coming from everywhere. So you're getting exposed. So make sure that you repel the negativity, attract only the positive. So by uplifting your mood, don't be caught up into bathing into all the people, paranoia and bad mood and
yeah.
and all that. Uplift yourself. Read something funny, you know, watch a funny movie during the trip, you know, sleep. You know, that's sleep. Have good dreams, you know. I mean, yeah, there's all kind of ways that, you know, you have no danger at all. You're out there attacking the virus. You know, no virus is going to try to, you know, no. And again, it's summer. It's warm. It's not going to be around unless you cultivate it, and unless you cultivate the right place, which is a cooler, acidic place in the dark. Away from the light and the warmth, oxygen and ventilation and all that. So make sure you have everything on your side and you'll be fine. And also again, diet, and don't eat junk food right before you go. Make sure your body is clean, and while you travel, make sure you have something good to drink, and put some tonic in there. We're talking with Lisa, right? We're talking about vinegar, a little bit of, you know, I mean, something very simple. Warm water, honey, it's going to taste good. And the honey is a very good adaptogen. And as a tonic, you put some apple cider vinegar in there, a teaspoon or two. And that's enough. If you can gargle with that, it kills the bacteria, it's good to drink, and it is antioxidant. So if you have any pain in the body, it's going to take care of it. It'll make your travel more comfortable. And you keep sipping on it throughout the trip. Don't drink anything ice cold. Yeah, because again, that makes you weak for the whole time that your body doesn't have got back into the right temperature. Stay away from staying in place where it's too cold, where there's a draft, especially in airports, where there's air conditioning and the draft and everything. So that's the place that the viruses love. That's why in the place of contagion, high place contagion are being two places, airports and hospitals, because they keep the temperature cool. 22 degrees centigrade, which is lab temperature. That's too cold, it's too cool. So as much as you can, go out in the sun, warm yourself up. Yeah, don't be afraid of being in the heat of summer. It's good for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's not good for the virus. So whatever is not good for the virus, good for you. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. We have to do some practice. I mean, I don't want to be talking all day. I mean, my base of my healing practice is doing things, not only listening and thinking about things. So we started last week with that capacity of keeping your body in a good mood. I do have a connection problem. Do you still hear me? Okay, fine. I got a signal there. Healing sound. The healing sound is so important to maintain yourself in a good alkaline and serotonin-based, healthy place. So the healing sounds of the daytime, from morning to afternoon. After that, you can have a nap. It's okay. We're going to get in those sounds later on. But the most important is during the time when you're awake and when you go out there. Going out there, you want to repeal the negativity of people around you. So make sure you feel good. So the feeling good sound, called earth sound, body sound, is the I'm feeling good. The vibration throughout the body. So you start, it might not feel so good, so you go bored, right? So you're in the plane, you almost you're ready to go out, in the airport. You want to uplift yourself, so you feel a little groggy. So you start with the breathe, move a little bit, stretch, feel better. Put a little lozenge in there. So the lozenge with a drop of essential oil in there is very good. Yeah, like a mint lozenge or something like that. Gives you on the breath thing, as soon as your breath, so whatever you breathe in and out, also repels the virus. Also the tonic with the honey in there. Feels good. Increasing that mood in there, and then really come out. And the heart sound. I am in Europe. I'm gonna have fun. I'm gonna have, it's vacation time, it's summer, I'm going to the beach. Yes, I'm gonna meet people I like. I'm gonna, enjoy life. So the sound, keep in your system, keep in your practice, do every day several times. It reminds the body to stay more with the serotonin level than adrenaline. And that repels the virus. There's no virus that can really contaminate the happy people. Yeah. You kill them right on the spot. So the only thing is to keep being happy all the time. And so you have to keep remind yourself. It's not to be hypocrite about what's going on. No, it's about really setting the ground to propagate a healing field, to cultivate a healing field within yourself and without yourself, all around you. And that's the only way. And unfortunately, it's not conventional. It's not, pattern of habits. So it takes some effort. So it takes some effort to create the field. And again, it's about critical mass. And the more you contaminate people around you and be able to have those people do the same thing, the easier it's going to get for the people to do it, right? Because it's a second nature. It's natural. Everyone knows about it. You just feel better, and of course. And even if you get contaminated, if you're, that's it, I feel a little sore throat. I got the virus. Of course you got the virus, so what? You get virus all the time. Gargle a little bit. Well, if you feel like you're starting to have a headache, it got into you, take some homeopathic remedy, oxylococcinum, so efficient. And if you have done into those fancy things, drink warm or hot even. And keep sipping something warm and hot, and elevate the temperature artificially. You can use good grade alcohol, fruit alcohol, and not grain. Grain alcohol, especially in the United States, has been polluted with the glyphosate. Not a good idea. There's all those pesticides in there that you don't want in your drinks. And no, fruit alcohol. Don't get drunk, don't become alcoholic, of course, but just the right amount to sanitize your system. Basically, you're antiseptic. You're clearing up your gargle. You can spit it out. It's okay. You know, you use a mouthwash or whatever. Then you clear your mouth, your nasal passages. You smell. You take the steam with essential oils. No virus can stay in your body. It'll be gone within minutes of doing that. Remember that for a virus to get you takes 5 days. 5 days where the virus is very weak, cannot develop, cannot reproduce. So it takes 5 days to destroy. And how long it takes to destroy the virus? Minutes. And you do 20 minutes of steaming. And even if it's already in your lungs, do it another time, a couple hours later. By the day after, you're fine. Your immune system took over. It's okay. So even if you catch virus, it's easy to get rid of if you do the right thing. But you have to use home remedies. Because from the allopathic perspective, conventional medical perspective, you don't take medication until you're sick. When you're sick, it's too late. You're invaded by viruses. Don't do that. Don't let yourself be invaded. And don't get sick. That's something I learned from me very early, years and years ago, because asthma. For me, if I get sick, if I catch a cold, if I get a little flu, it turns right away to bronchitis and not be able to breathe for days and days. That's horrible. So I learned not to get sick. And then I realized, well, that's pretty simple. I just have to follow some rules of basic hygiene and to do everything it takes to repel the virus around you. And that's what I've been doing for years. I never get sick. And I never, ever take the vaccination. I don't do that. Flu vaccination set you up for the next flu. And it's another controversy with that because of conflict of interest between the pharmaceutical companies and it's a big money scheme, and everything, and making people paranoid. And when they're paranoid, they need to be vaccinated because if they don't, they feel they develop the ground for the for the flu. So either way, they lose. They're going to get sick anyway. So you cannot just say don't vaccinate, to people because it makes them weak. No, again, you have to be respectful. But even if you vaccinate, make sure you respect those basic rules of hygiene and repel the virus. So eventually you become so strong that eventually you don't need vaccinations. So that's the whole idea. And especially when you know that vaccination is going to make you weaker. Again, there's all kinds of bad things in there because they have to make it this monoculture, one big company making the virus for the whole world, so that medication has to be able to travel and any kind of weather and conditions, so they have to stabilize it. And to stabilize vaccines, you have to put some kind of heavy metal in there, and that's a neurotoxin. So even though you might be protecting yourself against the virus, you're injecting like a neurotoxin that sets you up for Alzheimer, Parkinson's, all kinds of things like that. And so the so-called cure is worse than the disease itself. But I better catch the flu and deal with it than to set myself up for getting Alzheimer. There's already enough pollution around us already to create that. I don't want to add for it, especially once you inject it. It gets in your blood directly, no filtration from the liver and all the digestive system and everything. It goes straight into the nerves. It kills, it's horrible. You know, people are not aware that how much poisoning is done that way. Not a good idea. But that's my opinion. And again, I'm not a doctor. So do what you feel like is right for you. I'm just telling you what I do. And you don't have to imitate me. And if you want to do a combination of things, that might be smarter for you. Be vaccinated, fine if you feel like it. But make sure that you're sanitized and you repel the virus. So you don't need, eventually you won't need the vaccination any longer. So learn not to get sick. And that's the best advice. Repel the viruses and all the filth around you by creating the field that's clean. But again, not only the appearance of cleanliness, but true cleanliness and respecting the need for good bacteria. So be careful when you use antiseptic that doesn't kill all the bacteria, because some of the bacteria makes you strong. That's your own inner bacteria. So how you know the difference? Well, let your body tell you. A good antiseptic smells good. If an antiseptic is repellent to you, don't even breathe it. So all this isopropyl alcohol and chlorine and everything, that's why, you know, so your body don't like it, because it destroys you inside, it gets you poisoned. It's too strong. So either use it, if you have to use it, make sure it's diluted. It's not so aggressive and caustic to you. But I rather use something more natural. Hydrogen peroxide, it's oxygen. Oxygen is very caustic, and it's what oxidizes everything. I spray in the air after each client in the room when I give treatments. It kills the virus right in the air. And they sanitize everything. And if you have a nebulizer with or diffuser with essential oil going out, doesn't have to be too strong. Also does the same job. It kills the viruses right in the air before you reach the surface. Any kind of surface, you clean the surface, whatever. And again, you learn. That's the basic hygiene. That's the best and the best weapons. And again, life is stronger than death. Why? Because death exists only to promote life. So life is stronger at the end. So if you do everything to make life more enjoyable and about thriving, and to, richer, then you're on the side of life, you're on the healing fields, and nothing can hurt you. That's the best attitude to adapt. Okay, that was to answer the question about what to do when you travel. Covering the widest range all the time. But that's the attitude. If you have the right attitude, you don't fear traveling. You're fine. But you have to do the right thing. You have to be efficient. Be afraid of the appearance of cleanliness, because the appearance again hides filth. It hides the contagion. And that's why the hospitals can be so dangerous for that. There's some diseases that only develop in hospitals because of disinfecting all the time. So that disinfection creates an appearance of cleanliness that hides the worst of the viruses out there. And with same thing in airports. Looks everything nice, clean, ventilated and all that, but it's recirculated air. It's air conditioning. So it's cool, it's cold. So make sure you don't get into the draft, don't get cold, cover yourself. Bring something warm, even though it's summer. Well, if you live in San Francisco, it's cold anyway. So wear a jacket, wear a windbreaker, wear something that protects you from cold wind, drafts especially. And that's very important. You can wear a scarf, you can put some perfume on it and some essential oil. Anyway, you have to have the mask covering anyway, the face covering. So use that on your advantage, not your detriment. And if you use a face covering in air conditioning at the airport with all those viruses around, and your own breath is going to attract the viruses, and you're going to cultivate, it's going to fester in that face covering. And so the face covering has to be protected. It has to have some kind of antiseptic on it. So it becomes a protection, not a place of cultivation of the virus. Again, the difference between the appearance of cleanliness and true cleanliness. And be careful. And there is actually, it's not a thin line, it's a huge gap in between. And make sure you fill up the gap. Okay. I think we're getting to the end here. The time went so fast about when we have fun. So one more question and we do one more of that practice, but everyone together, so we enhance the field. So let's do the practice first and see if there is more question. So everyone sitting, being aware of your surroundings. Be aware that your surroundings, that's the field, your zone of influence you want to expand your healing into. So your own inner fragrance that comes out. So you need to develop that inner fragrance. So by feeling good, so making yourself feel good. So the sound. Think about the positive things that you can make happen to you today, starting right now. So, and it's like lunchtime here in California. So, I'm going to eat something good. Giving yourself something uplifting, something that smells good, something that feels good. The body, the sound of satisfaction. It's not only enjoyment. It's to be satisfied. It gives you strength, gives you solidity. And that's earth, making your earth solid. And the sound of solidity in there, of strength. Good inner support. That feels good. And it's enjoyable and something that's super that you really like. And then it's turning to, yes, that's what I want. So for that gets already the meridian system, the flow of energy to flow, and gives you what we call Wei Qi. And the Wei Qi that protects, that surrounds your body, that turns into, brings negative ions. So, so you radiate health. Again, and keep building. Can always make it better. So cultivating that feeling. Satisfaction. Enjoyment. Okay. Now we have the right condition here. Is there any more questions? We have about, what, 10 minutes, something like that. So basically, not only you have a good armor, but you have good weapons too. Nothing to fear. Go ahead.
Gilles.
Hi, Gilles. Thanks for the information. And I noticed in your blog that you were talking about fruit liqueurs and fruit tonics.
Yes.
Are those ones that you make yourself, or?
Yes. Make yourself as much as possible. Because again, if you have to buy it, it has to go done by the industry. It has to have some preservatives in there. And you don't know where the products are coming from. You don't know who's making them. I don't know what's been added in there. Again, the more you do for yourself, if you do for yourself, you know you're going to have the best quality possible. If it's done by someone else who's looking for profit first, then you know that they can get the cheapest product at the cheapest way possible for them to make profit. So you're never going to get the best quality from buying things. But even if you buy, it still works. I mean, the only thing is like, if you do for yourself, it's going to work so much better because you put your heart into it. You put your energy into it. And that by itself is an adaptogen. You know, just because you did it for yourself and for the people you like, your family, your best friends you share, that uplifts the spirit. That's the very best. So but if you have to buy it, make sure you buy quality. And this also you can share. You can say, you can enjoy. Yeah, go ahead.
What do you use for your base liqueur or
alcohol. Yeah, you have to be very selective. Make sure you don't use, again, I avoid grain alcohol like, like it was like a rat poison, because it is, it's now since 1995, especially, all the grain alcohol is coming from grain that's been basically doused with Roundup, glyphosate. So you cannot get a good adaptogen out of that. You might be able to use it as a mouthwash, maybe, or gargle and spit out. But even there, it's going to get in your system. As a basic rule of hygiene, I don't even put on my skin whatever I can put in my mouth, and I don't put in my mouth something I won't be able to swallow. So again, you want to get the best quality, and the best way to do that. So here in California, we find last year we find fruit vodka. So vodka, you have to be careful because you can make vodka of anything, and of course, again, the industry is going to use the cheapest thing possible, like potatoes and beets and root, basically vegetable, like accumulates more sugar. But being root vegetable, they collect all the pesticides and all the chemical that's put in the ground. So use fruit. And even if the fruit is not organic, at least there's much less stuff in there. And cherries and strawberries. Be careful, strawberry has to be organic also, because it's too close to the ground, and they use very bad poison to grow them. So if you can, yes, organic fruits is better. You can sometimes I order a pure alcohol, like over 90% alcohol, but that's outlawed in the United States. But I could get that, from France or from Canada, but you have to dilute, of course. But that's okay, because it's pure, it's clean. It's made of fruit also, it's not made out of grain. And be careful the origin of your alcohol, and that's the main thing.
Gilles, I have a question. Are you going to be able to send us a recording of this?
I don't send it. You get it. If you go on the website, it's right there.
Oh, thank you.
No, I send it. I'll send it out.
Oh, also you send it. I don't send it. Fortunately, I have a right hand. Actually, a right wing is an angel.
Oh.
It's the work I don't like to do.
We all need an angel. Thanks.
Yes. Thanks, David, for being the angel here.
Yeah,
in doing things I don't like to do, which is all this administrative stuff. It gets me crazy. Yeah. I do it wrong anyway, so I'd rather not do it. Yeah, so he's being an angel, he's sending to everyone. But it's easy to get straight out of the website. And you can also, from the website, you can download the lecture you missed, all the class you missed, and all that out there.
Yeah, we're setting that up.
Okay, it's being done.
Also on the website, I put up under resources, recommended health info, and it has some of Gilles' recipes, including some liqueurs we just put up, and 7 vegetable soup, fermented veggies, and things like that. So.
And I'm gonna put some liquors in there. Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
All traditional, homemade, ancestral stuff.
Nice.
So we're building cookbooks actually in there. It takes time because it's all in French. I have to translate too, so it's a lot of work for me too. Yeah, I have so much to do. Yes. Okay, looks like well, it's been a fast 2 hours here. So next week we're going back into the difference in the biology of consciousness. We'll start to get more into detail and deeper into practices. And also, yes, you can always come up with any kind of question related to whatever past classes has been, on any subject. And the best also is to send them ahead of time through email. So I prepare good answers, and that would help everyone to improve and keep cultivating that field of consciousness and good health.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think time is
Thank
over.
you, Gilles.
You're so welcome.
Thanks, David. Appreciate it.
Thanks,
All right.
David.
Thank you,
Yeah,
everyone.
great to see everybody.
Thank you.
Yes. So keep being positive. Yes, keep going back to the website because you have so much. There's so much things in there and all the writings and everything that it will take way too long, even to mention, on the class itself. So the more you learn on your own, the more you read and everything, the better you know. Then the easier the class becomes, and the more you get out of it. Okay.
Yep.
So next, hopefully, God's willing, inshallah, next week, same time, next Friday, 10 o'clock.
Yep.
Right. California time, of course.
All right.
Okay. All right. Have a good day, everyone. Or good
Great
evening.
weekend.
Good morning.
Bye, guys.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Bye-bye. Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much, Gilles.
Thank you for being here. Hi, Heidi. Bye.